emergency assistance to affected producers, replacing critical productive assets, supporting temporary livelihoods where incomes have been disrupted, accelerating replanting and restocking, and helping producers rebuild in ways that are more resilient to future disasters. Importantly, recovery must be linked to production. The objective is not simply to compensate losses, but to help farmers return to their fields and fishers return to the sea as quickly as possible. Madam Speaker, every disaster teaches the same lesson. Delayed recovery increases hardship, weakens food security, and slows economic growth. A permanent recovery fund would help ensure that assistance is timely, predictable, and focused on restoring livelihoods. If we know the disaster will come, then preparedness is not an option, it is a responsibility. Madam Speaker, for the fund to succeed, it must be transparent, efficient, and trusted by the people it is designed to serve. It cannot become another program defined by delay, uncertainty, or discretion. It must operate according to clear rules, clear timelines, and clear accountability. Farmers and fishers should know who qualifies, what losses are covered, what support is available, and how assistance can be accessed. Once a disaster is declared and the fund is activated, applications should be processed through a simple and accessible system supported by RADA, Fisheries Authority, and parish-level recovery teams. Most importantly, recovery must be timely. Damage assessment should begin immediately. Emergency assistance should reach affected producers within weeks, and regular public reports should provide transparency on beneficiaries, funding, and progress. The fund should also be supported by parish-level agricultural and fisheries recovery teams established before disaster occurs. Their role would be to assess damage, verify losses, coordinate assistance, and ensure that support reaches those most in need quickly and fairly. Madam Speaker, preparedness is not simply about forecasting storms. It is about having systems in place to protect livelihoods, restore production, and help people recover with dignity when disaster strikes. The obvious question is how such a fund would be financed. The answer is that it should not depend on a single source of funding. A permanent agriculture and fishery disaster recovery fund should be supported through a blended model that combines annual government allocations, climate finance, insurance mechanism, development partner support, and private sector partnership. Madam Speaker, a responsible nation does not wait until livelihoods are destroyed before searching for funding. It prepares in advance. Equally important, Madam Speaker, is accountability. The fund should be independently audited, report annually to Parliament, and publish recovery reports after major disasters, detailing how funds were allocated, who benefited, and what outcomes were achieved. The Jamaican people should not have to guess how disaster funds are being spent. Transparency must be built into the system from the beginning. I propose the establishment of an oversight body as well, comprising of representatives of government, opposition, farmers and fishers organizations, and other relevant stakeholders to strengthen public confidence and ensure fair administration. Madam Speaker, the issue before us is not whether resources can be found. The issue is whether we are prepared to build permanent systems that ensure those resources reach the people who need them the most when they need them the most. This is not simply an agricultural priority. It is a national responsibility and one that should unite us across party lines. Madam Speaker, disaster recovery is essential, but recovery alone cannot be our strategy. We must place equal emphasis on reducing vulnerability before disaster strikes. Climate change is no longer a future concern. It is a present reality. Farmers are facing longer droughts, more intense hurricanes, irregular rainfall, flooding, heat stress, and increased pest pressures. Fishers are confronting changing marine conditions and increasingly dangerous seas. The question is whether we are doing enough to help them adapt. Serious resilience program must include expanded irrigation, water harvesting system, protected agriculture, drought-resistant crops, improved drainage, hurricane-resistant infrastructure, coastal protection, and modern early warning systems. Resilience cannot remain a word that appears only in reports and speeches. It must be reflected in the investment we make and the systems we build. Madam Speaker, one of the fastest and most practical ways to strengthen food security is to reduce post-harvest loss. Too much of what our farmers produce never reaches to the consumers. Valuable produce is lost because of inadequate storage, limited cold chain infrastructure, insufficient processing capacity, and weaknesses in moving goods efficiently from farm to market. At a time when farmers are working hard to increase production, consumers are facing high food prices. Such losses are simply unacceptable. The government should therefore prioritize parish-level aggregation and distribution centers where produce can be sorted, graded, stored, processed, and connected to reliable markets. These facilities should be linked to schools, hospitals, hotels, supermarkets, exporters, and agro-processors to strengthen the journey from farm to table. We must also improve access to market intelligence. Farmers need timely information on demand, prices, and market opportunities so that production decisions can be made by data rather than guesswork. Madam Speaker, reducing post-harvest loss is about more than preventing waste. It is about increasing farmers' incomes, empowering people to enter agriculture. Opportunities for recognition and participation should be expanding and not shrinking. I therefore call on the government for accountability and results. Our priorities are clear: a permanent agriculture and fisheries disaster recovery fund, a national food import reduction plan, stronger support for youth through Jamaica 4-H Club and a youth in agriculture program, a modernized and resilient fisheries sector, stronger response to predial larceny, greater investment in farm roads, irrigation, storage, and agro-processing, expanded opportunity for women in agriculture, increased access to financing, insurance, and risk management tools, and greater transparency through annual sector scorecard and public reporting. Madam Speaker, Jamaica just does not need more promises without delivery or plans without implementation. What our farmers and fishers need are policies that increase production, strengthen food security, expand opportunity, and improve livelihoods. This is the agenda we are proposing. That is the standard we should demand, and that is the future our agriculture and fisheries sector deserves. Madam Speaker, as the Member of Parliament for Eastern Westmoreland, I have witnessed the resilience, determination, and hard work of our farmers, fishers, and rural communities. They are not asking for favors. They're asking for opportunity. They're asking for partnership. They're asking for leadership that matches words with action. The opposition stands ready to support every measure that genuinely advances those goals, but we will continue to demand accountability, transparency, and results, because the Jamaican people deserve nothing less. And so, I return to the central theme of this debate. The true measure of success is not what is announced, but what is achieved. It is measured in the farmer who can earn a fair return from the land. It is measured in the fisher who can return safely to sea. It is measured in the young person who sees a future in agriculture. It is measured in families who can afford the food they need, and in rural communities that can thrive with dignity and hope. That is the harvest Jamaica needs. That is the harvest our people deserve, and that is the harvest that we must all work together to achieve. Thank you very much.
Thank the member from Westmoreland Eastern, a new convert to the farming sector, for his presentation. And we will now invite the member from Southeastern St. Mary.